Like a lot of grown-ups, I learned to play by playing with older kids. They taught me the basic rules to games, they taught me how to resolve conflicts, how to do rock, paper, scissors, and I had a coach, a local DC Park and Rec guy named Clarence, who made sure that I got to be in the game, even if I was the only little girl who wanted to play. But growing up today, too many kids don't have a Coach Clarence. They don't have the chance to play outside after school unsupervised with other older kids teaching them the rules. And this has a direct effect on the way kids interact on the school playground, how they behave when they come back into the classroom, how it feels when they're out in the schoolyard. In the communities we serve, kids don't have the opportunity to go outside and play. They come from neighborhoods where their parents are justifiably worried that unsupervised play is dangerous. And there are other things that are distracting them from play that we knew. So when they come to school with little or no experience in navigating the playground, it takes a toll on how things roll out and how conflicts escalate and what happens when they go back into the classroom. It's disruptive to learning, and it's something that we can reverse. We've found that by training and placing an enthusiastic coach on the playground to support kids and teach them the basic rules to games, we can make sure that kids have a positive recess experience and they can come back to class with more focus. This allows kids to learn and teachers to teach. We survey our teachers and principals each year, and they report a decrease in bullying, an increase in conflict resolution and cooperation, and a positive impact overall on school climate. Most importantly, they report that after a Playworks recess, children return to class ready to learn. They're excited to learn. They're happy to be there. Teachers and principals nationwide are reporting an average of 24 hours of recovered instructional time for each class as a result of a positive recess experience. 24 hours of recovered instructional time means that kids are in the class and they're getting to do what they're supposed to be doing in school. Playworks is expanding to reach our goal of serving 1,000 schools through direct service and another 1,000 each year through training and technical support. Our vision is to change the system so that we can show every day that play is essential to learning. We're doing this by demonstrating and documenting the impact that a positive recess has on overall learning and school climate. We're obsessed with managing to outcomes. Our broad vision is to change the culture around play. Child development experts already understand the critical benefits of play. We want to make sure that this recognition of the importance of play is available to everyone who deals with kids. We want parents and schools to understand play as a critical part of learning and education, something that kids should get every day. We're leveraging principals, teachers, and other organizations to make Playworks successful. The principals really see Playworks as a solution to the pain point of recess at their schools. It's where the majority of conflicts at school originate, and we work on playgrounds to resolve bullying, exclusion, and conflicts that make the principal's day go easier and better. We provide teachers with more instructional time to focus on academics rather than on dealing with the conflicts that spill in from the playground. So teachers are deeply invested in our success. The big area where we need to grow is in leveraging families around the crucial role of recess in their child's school day. We know that if we can organize families to really care and advocate about recess, we can change the system because they are the ones who determine how children spend their days. I think Playworks is successful because of the thing itself, because of play. We tap into something that kids inherently want to do. And the nature of what we do is so powerful, and recess is such an amazing and underutilized tool otherwise, that by engaging with it, we're able to motivate kids who otherwise aren't inspired to be a part of things going on at school. We're also successful because we're disciplined and outcome-driven. We're always asking ourselves if a new program or a new expenditure makes it possible for more kids to play. That's ultimately what motivates us, and we never lose sight of that as being the end goal. We also train and place the most amazing natural leaders in the world to be on the playground. Young adults are uniquely well suited to inspire younger kids to play, and our coaches are recess rock stars. They model teamwork, inclusion, and fun, and the kids love it. They want to be just like their coach, and their behavior shows it both on the playground and back in the classroom. Principals and teachers buy into the program because they see firsthand, they experience the difference that Playworks makes in their school day. They bring us back year after year because of it. We're constantly refining our metrics. Internally, we look at a number of different measures we can control, like student participation and the use of conflict resolution strategies like rock, paper, scissors. We're also measuring attendance, engagement, and minutes of physical activity. We monitor how kids are playing together in groups as well, so we're looking at if the groups are integrated by ethnicity, grade, and age, and we're also looking for kids playing together and boys and girls mixed together. Every year we survey principals and staff at the schools where we work, and it's surprising, but it's relatively consistent year to year, even as the numbers of schools that we serve grow. In 2011, 93% reported an increase in the level of cooperation among students during recess. We had 86% of our teachers and principals reporting a decrease in the bullying. 87% reported a decrease in the number of disciplinary referrals during recess. 88% reported a reduction in the amount of time spent resolving conflicts from recess. We saw almost 90% report an increase in students' abilities to focus on class activities, and 91% reported a positive impact on school climate. We recently completed a randomized control trial with Mathematica and Stanford that found when you compared Playworks schools to control schools without Playworks, our program has a significant, measurable, and positive impact on bullying. Teachers reported less bullying and exclusionary behavior on the playground in general. They also said that transition time was much better in Playworks schools, with teachers reporting less time to transition from recess to learning activities. And there was a significant increase in teacher perception of student safety engagement on the playground. Kids just felt more safe and more engaged in what was happening both on the schoolyard and in class. I think one aspect of our organization that's not common knowledge would be how well suited young adults are to this role of the playground coach. There are not a lot of service opportunities out there, especially not opportunities in schools where a young adult is actually better suited to do the job. And when you see our coaches out on the yard doing what they do, you know that they're engaged and that they are bringing all of themselves to really help kids in a way that's both rewarding and helps them really find their own role in the community. I think if you were going to compare it to anything historically, potentially we're creating a service opportunity that's not unlike what happened with World War II when the vets came back and they had really discovered themselves as the next great generation. We need that. We need opportunities for people to engage. And by creating this Playworks coach job, we have created that kind of a service opportunity for young adults. There are a few misconceptions about what we do out there. I think one is around the role of the coach. Playworks coaches are facilitators of play. They're not dictating what the kids do. They make sure that there are opportunities for kids to lead and for them to create the rules to games and to understand and navigate the schoolyard. They function a lot like the older kids used to in neighborhoods when we were growing up. I also think there's some misconceptions around play itself. While kids inherently have a basic grasp, play is a learned activity. And to play games cooperatively, children need to learn and be exposed to the basic concepts like boundaries and rules. They need to be taught skills around resolving conflicts. And ultimately, when you give them all those lessons, that's when they have the best chance at taking control of their own play, rather than getting bogged down in the conflicts or not knowing the rules or not understanding the boundaries. All those sort of factors that can come in that ultimately dissolve the potential for play. All those questions about was the ball in or out, unless you give kids the skills and the tools they need to resolve those conflicts, they don't really have a fighting chance. We all had older kids teach us how to play, and so it's not just something that you come into this earth knowing inherently. I think another way that Playworks has been misunderstood or misinterpreted is that we're seen as taking away from kids' independence on the playground by telling them what to do or making them play. But nothing could be farther from the truth. Our coaches are there because they get the games going and they make sure that the kids who want to play get the chance to do so. The coach generally is one of the most popular grown-ups at the school. They play the role of the big kid on the playground and make sure that if a child wants to play, there's a game that she can join. Playworks started as a brand new concept in 2 schools in Oakland back in 1996. And since then, we've grown into a national organization with offices in every area of the country. I'd have to say that growth has been one of our biggest accomplishments, but it's only been possible because we've gotten to partner with some of the country's most influential foundations and really dedicated, generous donors. The Robert Wood Johnson Foundation has invested millions in our organization because they see our model as being effective and scalable and relevant to the populations they serve. They ultimately have invested in us because they see it as aligning with the mission of their organization. We're succeeding because the schools and the district we serve see the positive impact, and they experience it every day. They know that we're making a difference in school climate and learning. And along the way, we're also getting kids to be more physically active. We're at the forefront of a growing national conversation about the role and importance of play. And one of the accomplishments that I'm most proud of for Playworks is that that conversation is happening at all. 15 years ago, people weren't talking about, is there recess at a school? Does play a role in making sure that kids are learning? And today they are. And that's something that we're very proud of at Playworks. When I think about the challenges that Playworks has faced over the years, there are 2 kind of areas that specifically jump to mind. The first are the basic challenges that any organization, for-profit or nonprofit, would face in going to scale. There have been communication challenges, finding the right executive directors in new cities, building our reputation in new cities, all the basic normal challenges that you face in growing an organization. And they're not insignificant, but I feel like our learning curve has been steep, but with experience, we've gotten a lot better at all those things. The other challenge, and one that's maybe more unique to nonprofits, and in particular more unique to our relationship with the schools, is that we rely on school funding for our sustainability. And even in the best of economic times, working with schools to get funded is not for the faint of heart. Recently, schools and districts have experienced annual budget fluctuation that, while principals and teachers see us as a necessary tool for improving school climate, the funding is still uncertain from year to year, and it's made it hard to both plan and to ensure that we were getting the traction and ongoing consistency that we've always needed. I love the question, what would our organization do with additional resources? We're all about serving kids. If we had more resources, we would serve more kids. There are a few new areas of programming that Playworks has been exploring. Um, Generally, in the out-of-school time, we've always worked after school. And so one area is before school. In a few cities, we've been testing a model where we work with breakfast programs. So we are the incentive for kids to get to school early. They have recess before school, and they're more enthusiastic about signing up for breakfast. It means that kids are getting a healthy start, both with a nutritious breakfast, but they're also getting to run around, which we know encourages learning, especially if it's done first thing in the day. Another area is training student teachers in colleges and universities. The number one reason that teachers drop out, that new teachers don't continue teaching, is group management. And having Playworks as part of the teacher credentialing program means that they would have a better chance of being successful in conjunction with learning all the other aspects of teaching with the credentialing programs. Having us be the intel inside as far as teachers understanding what it means to be an effective group manager potentially represents an opportunity for a generation of teachers to connect better with the kids. Finally, we're looking at creating a credentialing opportunity for our own staff so that the coaches in our schools, if they committed to a 2-year process, they could learn about teaching as well as all the things that we already teach them. And at the end of 2 years of working with us, they'd come out ready to be a credentialed teacher. And that means that we'd be contributing to a shortage of teachers by recruiting young adults who were enthusiastic, well-trained, and ready to really engage in kids in a way that was going to help them find themselves as leaders in the community.